Did you know that behind the curtain of roaring applause and chart-topping hits, a staggering number of musical legends grapple with secrets that could shatter their carefully crafted personas? From clandestine dependencies that nearly ended careers mid-song to explosive personal demons that played out in tragic public fashion. Here are 20 most shocking secrets hidden by black musicians. 1. Marvin Gaye. A voice that defined a generation, singing of love and social healing, masked a terrifying war brewing within his own family. The opulence of his home, a gift to his parents, became the shocking stage for a final terrible confrontation, not with a stranger, but with the man who should have been his protector. What hidden animosity could lead to such a tragic end for this Prince of Soul? The secret wasn't just this icon's escalating reliance on powerful substances which fueled paranoia and erratic behavior. It was the horrifying, combative nature of his relationship with his own father. This domestic turmoil was a far cry from the harmonious love songs he shared with the world. The family home, instead of a sanctuary, became a battleground. Friends and insiders knew of the simmering animosity, the verbal lashings, and the physical altercations that had plagued their relationship for decades. He often spoke of the fear and loathing he felt for his father, a man who supposedly disciplined him with brutal efficiency. The horrifying climax to this secret torment occurred on April 1, 1984. During a heated argument, his father discharged a firearm twice, ending the life of the beloved singer. The world was stunned. The Prince of Motown met his demise, not at the hands of a stranger or due to an overdose in a lonely hotel room, but his life was taken by his own father. The ensuing trial revealed the depth of the family's dysfunction, a shocking narrative of mistreatment and resentment that Marvin Gaye had largely kept shielded from public view. The secret was out, but at the ultimate cost. But familial betrayal wasn't the only demon haunting music's elite. Sometimes the most dangerous secrets were the ones artists kept from themselves, leading to a slow, agonizing fade from an almost unimaginable height of global adoration. Second, Michael Jackson. He was more than a musician, he was a global phenomenon whose every move was scrutinized under a blinding spotlight. Yet, beneath the spectacle of his fantasy ranch and gravity-defying dance moves, this king harbored profound secrets about his physical and mental suffering, leading to a perilous dependency on potent medications. While certain public accusations dominated headlines, a quieter, more insidious secret was his reliance on painkillers and sedatives. The pressure to maintain his otherworldly image and perform at superhuman levels took a massive toll. A severe injury during a commercial shoot years prior is often cited as the beginning of his reliance on pain relief. Multiple cosmetic procedures also likely contributed to chronic discomfort. He reportedly suffered from severe insomnia, leading to the use of powerful anesthetics simply to achieve rest, a highly unorthodox and dangerous practice. He desperately tried to conceal his deteriorating health and dependency, fearing it would tarnish his image and derail his career, especially as he prepared for a monumental comeback tour. The shocking truth of his addiction was tragically revealed when his life abruptly ended due to an overdose of prescribed substances. His passing exposed the network of medical professionals who facilitated his dependencies and the intense physical and emotional pain he endured in secret. The king of pop, Michael Jackson, who seemed almost immortal on stage, was, in reality, a man battling demons no one fully understood until it was too late. Third, R. Kelly. He crafted an image as a smooth, seductive hitmaker, selling millions of records and lauded for his vocal talent. However, for decades, this titan of R&B allegedly cultivated a horrifying secret life involving systematic predatory conduct towards young, vulnerable individuals. Rumors and accusations swirled for years, but the full extent of his alleged operations remained largely hidden, protected by a wall of enablers and a loyal fan base. The first major public crack in this facade was an illicit union with an underage singing prodigy, a scandal that was quickly nullified and officially denied for years. Despite a high-profile trial, years later, where he was acquitted of certain charges, whispers of his predatory behavior persisted. He allegedly ran an operation described by accusers as a controlling environment, isolating individuals, dictating their lives, and subjecting them to psychological and improper pressures. This network of mistreatment was meticulously concealed through intimidation and manipulation. The dam of secrecy finally broke with a bombshell docu-series, which gave a powerful platform to numerous accusers. The graphic and disturbing testimonies painted a picture of a man who used his fame and power to exploit the vulnerable for decades. This led to new investigations and ultimately his conviction on federal charges related to racketeering and unlawful activities. The charismatic hitmaker, R. Kelly, was revealed to be a monstrous figure, his chart success forever tainted by the shocking, long-hidden truth of his deeds. Some secrets festered behind closed doors, leading to tragic personal declines, as was the case for one of America's most beloved voices. 4. Whitney Houston. She possessed one of the most iconic voices in music history, The Voice, an American sweetheart whose image was pristine, almost angelic. But behind the flawless vocals and dazzling smile, this superstar battled a devastating and long-concealed reliance on powerful substances, a secret that would ultimately contribute to her tragic downfall and premature end. For years, rumors of substance use were vehemently denied by her camp. Her tumultuous marriage was often blamed for her troubles, with her partner painted as the corrupting influence. While their relationship was undeniably enabling, her struggles with addiction were her own, deeply rooted and fiercely guarded. She went to great lengths to hide the extent of her substance reliance, fearing the destruction of her carefully crafted image. Insiders spoke of her ability to present a polished front while privately succumbing to her demons. The addiction ravaged her once-in-a-generation voice, leading to erratic behavior and public appearances that shocked fans. The secret became undeniable as her struggles played out more publicly in her later years. Despite attempts at rehab, the addiction maintained its grip. On February 11, 2012, Whitney Houston was found unresponsive in a hotel bathtub, her passing attributed to drowning and the effects of heart disease and substance use. The world mourned, and the full tragic scope of her hidden battle was laid bare. 5. James Brown. He was an electrifying performer, Mr. Dynamite, a musical innovator who transformed popular music. Publicly, he was a symbol of black pride and achievement. Privately, however, this godfather was known by many as a tyrannical and harsh figure, a secret often whispered about but rarely confronted due to his immense power. His hidden life was reportedly marked by severe domestic discord and an iron-fisted control over those around him. Multiple women, including his partners, accused him of serious mistreatment. One wife in particular had a notoriously volatile relationship with him, with numerous documented instances of authorities being called for domestic disturbances. Yet his superstar status often seemed to shield him from severe consequences. Beyond domestic issues, he was notorious for imposing harsh penalties on his band members for minor infractions, maintaining a climate of fear. His own struggles with certain substances reportedly fueled his paranoia and aggressive behavior. While some of his legal troubles and substance issues made headlines, the pervasive culture of fear he cultivated and the true extent of the mistreatment he inflicted often remained in the shadows. After his passing in 2006, more stories emerged, painting a darker, more complex picture of the musical genius James Brown. The hardest-working man in show business was also, for many, a man who hid a terrifying reign behind his dazzling stage persona. 6. Ray Charles. Blind since childhood, his musical vision was unparalleled, the genius who fused genres to create soul music. He projected resilience and artistic integrity. However, for nearly 2 decades of his peak career, this trailblazer harbored a significant secret: a powerful substance dependency. Alongside this, he maintained a string of countless extramarital personal encounters, fathering numerous children with multiple women, a reality far removed from his public marital image. His reliance on a particularly potent substance began in his late teens and continued well into the 1960s. It was a closely guarded secret, as discovery could have meant ruin. He managed to function at an incredibly high level, all while battling his dependency. The logistics of maintaining his habit on the road and avoiding detection were a constant hidden struggle. He faced legal issues for possession on more than one occasion, the latter incident leading to a self-imposed hiatus and his eventual conquering of the habit. Some artists battled substances, others battled the law, and one legendary songstress found her personal demons exploited by the very authorities meant to uphold justice. 7. Billie Holiday. Her voice was one of the most emotive and influential of the 20th century, capable of conveying profound pain and resilience. But her life was a constant struggle against prejudice and her own devastating addictions, primarily to a potent substance. This addiction became a defining, tragic secret that certain figures in law enforcement ruthlessly exploited, hounding her for years and contributing to her career's decline and early demise. Lady Day's substance use was an open secret in jazz circles, but something she tried to manage away from the public eye. One particular federal agent, however, reportedly made it a personal vendetta to make an example of her. She faced legal action multiple times, most famously in 1947, leading to a period of incarceration. Upon her release, her performer's license, essential for working in many city clubs, was revoked, severely impacting her livelihood. This persecution was a secret war waged against her. She tried to get clean numerous times, but the combination of deep-seated trauma, career pressures, and relentless hounding made sustained recovery nearly impossible. Even on her deathbed, suffering from severe health complications, she was reportedly placed under guard in her hospital room due to alleged possession. The life of Billie Holiday was a testament to her incredible talent, but also a shocking story of how a personal demon became a weapon used against her. A life cut short by inner demons is a tragedy, but when a beloved star's end is violent and mysterious, the secrets left behind can haunt generations. 8. Sam Cooke. He was the golden-voiced king of soul who successfully transitioned from gospel stardom to mainstream pop success. He was handsome, charismatic, and a savvy businessman. His public image was largely clean. However, his sudden passing at a young age, under violent and perplexing circumstances in a motel, revealed a side of his life that was kept carefully hidden and left a storm of unanswered questions. The official story was that he was fatally confronted by the motel manager after an alleged aggressive outburst related to a female companion. The manager claimed self-defense, and the passing was ruled justifiable. But this narrative was immediately questioned. Many couldn't reconcile the image of the suave, controlled star with the wild man described. The secret was what truly happened that night, and the hidden aspects of his life that might have led to it. Rumors swirled about organized crime connections or that he was set up. The female companion had a criminal record. Many believed the investigation was cursory. He was known to carry large amounts of cash. His involvement in the civil rights movement also led some to speculate about more sinister motives. The full truth of Sam Cooke's final hours remains one of music's most enduring and shocking unsolved mysteries. While some secrets revolved around tragic ends, one of the biggest scandals involved a secret about the very beginning, or rather the lack thereof, of a chart-topping duo's musical contributions. 9. Milli Vanilli. They exploded onto the global music scene with infectious pop dance tunes, boasting the looks, the dance moves, and even a prestigious music award for Best New Artist. Their secret, however, was one of the most audacious and shocking deceptions in music history. The two faces of the group performed no vocals on their smash hit records. The entire project was the brainchild of a European producer who hired talented but less marketable singers to record the vocals, and then recruited 2 struggling models and dancers to be the public faces. The duo was sworn to secrecy, trapped in a golden cage of fame built on a lie. They toured the world, lip-syncing to sold-out crowds, while the real vocalists remained anonymous. The charade began to unravel during a live televised performance when the recording track jammed and skipped. This embarrassing incident fueled skepticism. The pressure mounted, and finally the producer himself confessed the hoax. The backlash was immediate and brutal. Their award was revoked, lawsuits were filed, and the duo became global pariahs. The secret was out, destroying careers and tragically contributing to one member of Milli Vanilli's downward spiral and untimely passing. 10. Lauryn Hill. Hailed as a generational talent, her solo masterpiece garnered critical acclaim, commercial success, and multiple prestigious awards. She was a powerful, conscious voice. Then, almost as quickly as she rose, she retreated from the public eye, her career shrouded in secrets of erratic behavior, creative silence, and significant legal troubles, most notably for failing to address her financial obligations to the government. After colossal success, she became increasingly disillusioned with the music industry and fame. She largely stopped recording new music, and her live performances became infrequent and often unpredictable. The secret behind this withdrawal was complex, attributed to her desire to raise her children privately, spiritual pursuits, and a deep distrust of an industry she felt was exploitative. She spoke of wanting to escape the matrix. However, a more concrete secret emerged when she was charged with neglecting to pay federal income taxes on substantial earnings. She eventually faced a short period of incarceration. She stated that she had gone underground and rejected pop culture's climate of hostility, false entitlement, manipulation, racial prejudice, and ageism. While her reasons for withdrawing were personal, the tax issues became a public symbol of Lauryn Hill's struggles to navigate life outside conventional structures. Retreating from the spotlight is one thing, but when a star's inner turmoil spills into very public and controversial displays, the world struggles to separate the artist from the spectacle. 11. Kanye West. He is one of the most influential and controversial artists of the 21st century, a groundbreaking producer and rapper whose artistic vision consistently pushed boundaries. However, alongside his musical genius, this artist has engaged in increasingly erratic public behavior and controversial statements. For a long time, the underlying cause of these episodes was a secret until it was revealed he was contending with a significant mental health condition, a diagnosis he has both acknowledged and at times seemed to reject. His public outbursts have often overshadowed his music. While some dismissed it as attention-seeking, those closer to him hinted at deeper struggles. His former spouse eventually spoke publicly about his condition, asking for compassion while acknowledging the pain his episodes caused. The secret wasn't just the diagnosis, but the immense difficulty of managing such a condition under intense global scrutiny and his own ambivalent relationship with treatment. While some battles are fought in the mind, others involve a secret physical agony, hidden from legions of adoring fans until it's tragically too late. 12th Prince. He was an enigmatic musical force who created a universe of funk, rock, R&B, and pop. Known for his prolific output and intense privacy, he projected an image of clean living. This made the revelation after his sudden passing all the more shocking. This icon had been secretly battling a dependency on potent pain-relieving medication. For years, he suffered from chronic discomfort, likely stemming from decades of athletic, high-impact performances. To manage this pain and continue performing at his famously high energy levels, he began taking powerful prescribed substances. This was a deeply hidden secret, known only to a very small inner circle. He was incredibly adept at concealing his struggles, maintaining his demanding schedule. His passing, caused by an accidental overdose of an extremely strong synthetic substance, stunned the world. Investigations revealed he had ingested counterfeit pills that were dangerously laced. The extent of his dependency and the desperate attempts to seek help in his final days painted a tragic picture of a man suffering in silence. Prince, who seemed to control every aspect of his music and image, had lost control of this one devastating secret. Some secrets involve self-inflicted harm through dependency, but one rock and roll pioneer harbored a secret that involved the alleged violation of others' privacy. 13. Chuck Berry. He is undisputed royalty in the rock and roll pantheon, a pioneering guitarist and songwriter. However, behind his iconic stage moves and infectious tunes, this legend had a darker, secret side involving disturbing legal troubles, including accusations related to illicit surveillance. While an earlier conviction for crossing state lines with a minor for improper purposes was public knowledge, a later scandal was particularly shocking. He was sued by several women who claimed he had installed a hidden recording device in the women's restroom of his restaurant. Authorities reportedly found tapes containing footage of women in compromising situations during a search of his property. He ultimately avoided incarceration on these later charges by agreeing to a plea bargain involving a lesser offense and settled civil lawsuits out of court. This voyeurism scandal was a deeply unsettling revelation about a celebrated musical icon, Chuck Berry, a hidden proclivity that starkly contrasted with his public image. Voyeurism is one shocking secret, but an internal war between identity and deeply held beliefs created a lifelong, tumultuous secret for another architect of rock and roll. 14. Little Richard. He was one of the explosive, flamboyant architects of rock and roll, shattering conventions with his wild persona and suggestive lyrics. His public image was one of uninhibited androgyny. However, throughout his life, this pioneer privately and sometimes publicly wrestled intensely with his personal identity and his deep Christian faith, a secret conflict that led him to renounce his music career multiple times. In an era when certain personal orientations were deeply stigmatized, his flamboyant stage persona pushed boundaries, but his personal life was a turmoil of desire and damnation. He would openly discuss his personal encounters in some interviews, while in others, particularly later in life, he would denounce aspects of his own identity as unnatural and contrary to his beliefs, a direct contradiction that baffled many. This internal war was a core secret of his being. An internal war can be devastating, but for one funk innovator, the war with substances led to an almost complete disappearance from the world he helped create. 15th Sly Stone. He was a visionary who broke down racial and musical barriers with groundbreaking funk anthems, leading a vibrant, multiracial, mixed-gender ensemble that preached unity. But as the years progressed, this enigmatic frontman descended into a spiral of severe substance reliance, primarily on potent stimulants and dissociatives, which decimated his career, his finances, and led to decades of reclusive, erratic behavior. A shocking and tragic secret transformation. The once prolific and reliable bandleader became notorious for missing gigs or delivering incoherent performances. His substance use fueled extreme paranoia and instability. The vibrant energy that defined his early work dissipated, replaced by a darker, more fractured sound that mirrored his personal chaos. He became increasingly isolated. For years, this icon became a mythical, lost figure. Rumors circulated about his whereabouts. It was then shockingly revealed that the music legend was living in a van, virtually homeless despite the millions his music had generated. This was the ultimate, tragic culmination of his long-hidden self-destruction. While he made sporadic attempts at comebacks, the genius Sly Stone was largely lost to his addictions. Losing oneself to addiction is a tragic secret, but for a young rap pioneer, the most devastating secret was an illness that struck him down in his prime. 16. Eazy-E. He was a pivotal figure in gangsta rap, founder of a legendary group and an influential record label. His distinctive voice and godfather of gangster rap persona made him an icon, projecting an image of street toughness. This made his sudden passing from complications related to a serious immune deficiency syndrome at a young age an immense shock. The secret was not just his illness, but how rapidly it progressed and how little time elapsed between diagnosis and his demise. He was admitted to the hospital with what was thought to be a respiratory issue. He was quickly diagnosed with the advanced stages of the syndrome. Just a month later, his life ended. In a statement released shortly before his passing, he acknowledged his illness and aspects of his past lifestyle, urging others to learn from his experiences. However, the swiftness of his decline suggested he may have been unknowingly living with the underlying virus for some time. An illness can be a hidden foe, but for another funk king, the foe was a raging substance dependency that fueled a shocking series of violent acts. 17. Rick James. The self-proclaimed king of punk funk was a flamboyant and outrageously talented musician known for massive hits. His rebellious attitude and hedonistic lifestyle were part of his public persona. However, his escalating reliance on a highly addictive stimulant in the late 1980s and early 1990s led him down a dark path of aggression and unlawful actions. A shocking secret reality far more depraved than his bad boy image suggested. His substance abuse became so severe that it fueled increasingly erratic and violent behavior. The most shocking incidents came to light when he and his then-partner were arrested for assaulting and unlawfully detaining a young woman at his home over several days. They were accused of severe mistreatment, including causing burns with heated paraphernalia. While awaiting trial for this, he was involved in another altercation with a different woman over allegedly missing substances. One man's violence shocked the public when revealed, but an even more deeply buried secret of sustained mistreatment within a famous musical duo would eventually rock the world. 18. Ike Turner. He was a pioneering guitarist and bandleader, credited with recording one of the first rock and roll songs. As the leader of a world-famous revue, he achieved international fame. However, behind the scenes of their electrifying performances, he subjected his famous singing partner to years of horrific physical and psychological mistreatment. A devastating secret she bravely revealed to the world years later. For the public, they were a dynamic duo, though he was known to have a menacing edge. His partner, with her powerhouse voice, was the undeniable star, but he controlled every aspect of her life and career with an iron fist. The secret of his severe mistreatment was well guarded for years, maintained through fear. She endured brutal physical confrontations, emotional torment, and financial exploitation, often forced to perform while injured. Domestic turmoil is a horrifying secret, but the unsolved demises of two rap titans remain shrouded in secrets that continue to fuel speculation and grief. 19. Tupac Shakur and the notorious B.I.G. They were two of the most talented and influential rappers of their era, initially friends, then bitter rivals in a highly publicized coastal hip-hop feud. Their untimely ends, both through violent street confrontations months apart, remain officially unsolved, shrouded in secrets, conspiracy theories, and allegations of gang involvement and industry beefs taken to a fatal extreme. The core secret is who was truly responsible for their demises and why. One was targeted in Las Vegas after a major sporting event, while in a car with the head of his controversial record label. The other met his end in Los Angeles while leaving a magazine party in a chillingly similar fashion. Were their passings retaliatory acts connected to their feud? Were other powerful figures involved? While many secrets involve darkness and tragedy, some simply reveal the astonishingly multifaceted lives our idols lead, far from the glare of the stage lights. 20. Solomon Burke. The king of rock and soul, he possessed a commanding voice and a larger-than-life persona, influencing legions of artists. What many fans didn't know was that alongside his prolific music career, this giant of soul led a fascinating and somewhat secret parallel life. He was an ordained bishop and also professionally managed a funeral home business. Furthermore, his personal life was said to include a vast family, a sprawling dynasty often kept separate from his public music image. While his gospel roots were evident, his active role as a spiritual leader in his church was less publicized in mainstream music circles. He preached and conducted ceremonies, maintaining a spiritual community. Even more unique was his involvement in the undertaking business. He was a licensed professional in this field, a skill reportedly learned as a teenager. This wasn't just a side business, he was actively involved. These aspects of his life weren't necessarily scandalous, but they were certainly not front and center in his rock and soul persona, making them a surprising revelation for many. Solomon Burke managed to balance these vastly different worlds, the sacred and the secular. The sheer breadth of his commitments and identities remained a somewhat guarded, or at least compartmentalized, secret for a man known primarily for his powerful voice. These 20 stories are but a glimpse into the hidden pressures, pains, and profound secrets that often lie beneath the polished surface of musical genius. The stage lights can illuminate, but they can also cast long, dark shadows where personal demons and carefully guarded truths reside. The legacies of these black musicians are forever etched in their art, but understanding the complexities they navigated offstage adds a deeper, often more tragic dimension to their unforgettable contributions to music history.